Hello. So this week's topic over existentialism and Gestalt therapy I found very interesting. I had studied existentialism some in college in my undergrad years and years ago, and I had taken several humanities and philosophy courses. And so it was discussed heavily, and we had to read The Stranger by Albert Camus and Kierkegaard and things like that. And I liked it, but it was hard to wrap my head around. So revisiting the topic now and putting it in the context of counseling and therapy, I thought was very interesting. How these two are similar is that Gestalt and existentialism are both part of the humanistic therapy, in that it emphasizes an approach for the capacity of people to make rational and logical decisions and develop and change themselves. It has respect for both of them have respect for the individual and for the themes of how people can grow and change. Both stress living in the here and the now while emphasizing that a person can reach a more authentic life and existence. Existentialism, according to Tan, existentialism is an approach that emphasizes the freedom that every human being has to choose his or her own values and meanings in life. Gestalt focuses more on the holism of the person and accepting responsibility and one's actions, becoming self-reliant and self-aware. So that's how they differ. As far as the strengths and limitations of existentialism focuses on the human's ability to make their own choices, as I've said, and to become a more authentic person. Where it lacks or where it has some difficulty is that there isn't much structure for the practice and implementation, so it can vary from therapist to therapist. It also tends to ask bigger questions. What is the meaning of life? Who am I? Those things don't necessarily address if a client comes and they have a biological need or the socio-cultural needs. So it can overlook those things. With Gestalt focuses on the here and now, understanding and dealing with present feelings, mindfulness, which is a big focus now in counseling, and it helps finish up unfinished business from the past. The limitations for Gestalt are that it focuses on helping the client more with self-sufficiency, but that can easily lead to gross individualism, is the term that the book uses, and self-centeredness. As far as how these blend with the Christian perspective, existentialism leans heavily on free will and the ability for the individual to make logical and rational choices. It addresses several aspects that the Bible does as well: life and its meaning, death, loneliness, isolation. All of these themes run throughout the Bible. However, it also focuses greatly, again, on the individual, and sometimes that tends to call to supplant God, that the individual is responsible for everything that they do and God has no hand in it. The same could be said for Gestalt. Gestalt does the same thing. That would be the weakness in it, is that it focuses so heavily on self-actualization and person-centered, the individual being the center of it, that it removes God from the equation. However, what Gestalt does have is that it does really emphasize personal growth and taking responsibilities for one's actions. As far as the measurable outcomes for existentialism, not much of controlled data has been established for it. Paradoxical intervention has been studied greatly, and it's shown some promise, but existentialism as a whole has not been studied in controlled experiments enough. And because the concepts are so abstract, it's difficult to put those into measurable outcomes. And the same with Gestalt. Gestalt overall doesn't have huge amounts of controlled data, but there are elements of it, such as the empty chair technique, which have been found to be effective in conflict resolution. So, thank you very much.